What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. I'm trying to get back into doing these more and more. Just got done with having to do some continuing education for my job, so yeah, glad to have that done for the day and get to do this with you guys. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be a fun stream. We're gonna play through some of the new Spec 3 stuff, talk about Spec 3. We're gonna do a bit of a warm-up run first. Sorry, I'm texting. Alright. So, yeah, we're going to go through some of the Spec 3 stuff, talk about it, and, you know, just enjoy the Power Pack races and play through that a little bit. I've played through a tiny bit of these, but not a whole lot. By tiny bit, I mean one. I've really been trying to save those for some stream content. I'm going to go ahead and share this on the Discord server. And then we'll do our warm-up here. So for our warm-up, we've got probably one of my favorite builds that I haven't gotten to test out yet. I just wrapped this up. This is a Tommy Kyra R33 GTR. The Skyline that I feel like everyone has forgotten about. Now, I am a die-hard Euro guy, but I've always had a soft spot for the Skyline and the Supra in particular. So we're going to go have some fun with this. So you can see I've already done a couple lap times around here. So some pretty good laps. I'm going to aim to be somewhere between that 296 and the Evo. I don't quite know this is going to go. This car doesn't have a ton of aero on it, but it does make 800 horsepower. So, yeah, as far as the build goes, we'll go through this car real briefly. We've got the racing softs, of course. We've got suspension, factory aero, nothing crazy, no anti-lag. But some of the big stuff, I was trying to save money, so that's why I didn't go too crazy with this build. In fact, it has the stock clutch. I wanted it to kind of lag between shifts. That was kind of the idea here. So it has a lot more in it, but for what I wanted to build, I wanted a more 90s era, crazy built sport, like street car kind of deal with, you know, the side effect of having racing slicks. So anyway, let's get out there. We'll do a warm-up lap. We'll do a couple laps. I know a lot of people know I used to stream in VR. I talked about this briefly during the last stream. Wow, this thing's got a ton of understeer, which I was not expecting. I tuned the suspension to try to get it to snap more. Give me some rotation. Turn traction control as well. So this is the new Yas Marina circuit, Yas Marina, however you want to pronounce it. That was added in the Spec 3 update. Yeah, this thing is super understeery. I was not expecting that at all. Alright. Luckily we're gonna do like a couple laps just to get warmed up. Granted, none of the cars we'll be driving are gonna be like this. In fact, I think they're gonna be quite the opposite. It'll be significantly slower with this car, but okay. Very unpredictable car, which is really surprising. So, snaps under throttle, but once you're at high speed, it understeers horribly. So, not entirely sure. I do have the stock differential tuning on this. That could be part of it. Maybe I need to go and adjust the diff settings on this car. But I do think they've done a physics change. The physics engine, it seems to be a little bit different than what it once was. I'm noticing a lot more understeer than the majority of cars in this game. So, do a couple laps here, just see what the Skyline can do. Then we'll move on to Power Pack racing. It's ironic, as someone who's been playing the F1 games for years, I thought I would love Gilles Villeneuve more than this track, because that's always been how it's been for me. I was really excited when I heard that Gilles Villeneuve was coming to the game, but it turns out, as far as Gran Turismo goes, I prefer Yas Marina. Whew, a lot of snap there on throttle. So it doesn't entirely make sense with this car. It's understeering real hard in corners like this where I'm having to trail brake it a little bit. You'd think it would kind of help because it would unload the rear end, but in fact it's the opposite. It's just burying the nose in the ground. The moment you get on the throttle, the entire car snaps out. Alright, let's see if we can get a cleaner lap in this go around here. little bit better so far through here. I think some differential tuning would definitely be in order for this car. I just wish I had a bit more rotation going into the corner, that I didn't have to like chase it with throttle to get it to slide the back end out. It is pretty fast though. We're already up to just about 180, a little over 180 as we head into the braking zone. So not quite as fast as some of these like formula cars and supercars and stuff that I've seen out here. Come on, you've got to be serious. That was super frustrating. See, if it could do a little bit more of that, but controllable going into a corner, I'd be really happy. But like the fact that it's completely skidding out a corner exit. And at least this doesn't feel like a boat like R35s tend to in these games. It's only the super fortunate is I love the R35 in terms of its looks, in terms of its sound. But goodness, they drive like boats. In every race game I've ever played, I've gotten out of R35s hating them. But so far, this thing's not actually what I was hoping either. Like, I'm really unimpressed with how bad the understeer is and how bad the snap under throttle is, which I've never experienced in an all-wheel drive car in this game over the many years I've been playing this. Alright, I'm going to give one more go because, you know, obviously we've had quite a few mishaps with the snap oversteer on throttle in this car. Which I know you're probably going to be saying, oh, it's because you're driving without traction control. Well, I have more fun without traction than these all-wheel drive cars. A lot of the all-wheel drive cars, if like it interferes too much. Good little kick out there. But yeah, I guess I got distracted. You guys might remember I used to stream in VR. Unfortunately, I mentioned this in the last stream. Those are going to be gone for a while, VR streams, and that is because I had a bit of an accident here in my game room in my house not so long after I moved in, and unfortunately it took the VR headset out. So I no longer have that. It just doesn't work. It doesn't get power. It doesn't turn on. It's dead, effectively. So really unfortunate because that was one of my favorite devices I had, and in fact was part of the reason I stayed with GT for so long. Because I couldn't get it to run right on my PC, even though I have the adapter for VR2s to PC. Alright, let's see how it behaves going into this corner. Alright, this is going to be a much better lap, I think, as long as it doesn't snap out on me again. I'm being cautious with it, because it's understeering in corners like that, but the moment I add any throttle, it does that. We're going to trail brake it a little bit, but not enough, obviously, to keep it from going completely off. But I'll take it. This thing is a lot more of a handful than I expected it to be. I expected it to be like super planted and comfortable, but it's really unpredictable. Oh, that's an interesting one. All right, now let's actually go and do the Power Pack races. I just wanted to warm up a little bit, talk about Spec 3. Handling is pretty unimpressive, and it's about where I thought it would be on the chart. About 3 seconds faster than my Mines build Evo. Well, it's not a Mines Evo, but my Evo that was meant to be like a Mines build, and the Ferrari GT3 race car. So it's about where I expected it to be, honestly, in terms of overall leaderboard times. But let's roll on over to the Power Pack and go do a couple races there. This has been a super controversial thing, and while typically I'm not a fan of paid DLC content, if the content is plentiful, I don't care as much. Do I wish that they'd added more with the Power Pack than just a bunch of races to do? Yeah, a little bit. But we've got a lot more fun races, in my opinion, than what the game had. I mean, it was getting really repetitive, the starting in dead last and having to work your way up. It's really frustrating. It's really boring. I mean, yeah, you can do custom race and set yourself to start in the middle of the pack and whatever, but you lose money when you do that. That's like the incentive to do the chase is, you know, to get money out of it. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks. But thankfully with this, it is just set. Like, you get this X amount of stars, X amount of money when you finish at the top. So that's part of the reason why I'm not too mad about this. I do wish this was a little bit cheaper. I think $30 is a bit of a stretch for a bunch of races. I still paid it. I'm feeding the machine. I get it. But, you know, I think it would be much better if this were like $15. I think would have been a more fair price for the content you do get out of this. So anyway, we're going to pick up a different category. I did the GTI category. I have a VW GTI. I think it was obvious, and I was really disappointed that there wasn't a Golf GTI for me to drive. I think we're going to go with, we've got muscle cars to start. We got Porsche Cup Legends. We've got the Hakosuka 70s, and we've got the FF Tuning Battle and the Civic Race. The Civic Race has a handful of different cars to pick from. We've got the EK, we've got the EG, and the EF. When I was a teenager, this was the car that I wanted the most as a first car, was an EG Civic. And I'm still kind of bummed I didn't get it. I probably wouldn't like VW as much, because Hondas are, like, apparently some of the most fun cars to build when you're, you know, a teenager, and they're inexpensive. But the problem is I didn't know how to drive stick until I was in my late teens, early 20s. So I would have had to have gotten an automatic EG hatch, which might as well just not be existent. Is someone banging on my window? So, handful of different cars to pick from here. A lot of different fun. The tuning battle for the FF stuff, we've got a couple good options here. We've got the Group 4 Mazda 3, the FL5 Type R, really good car, and the Launcher N, which I've driven a couple of Veloster Ns, and they're pretty fun cars. I have my preferences. I'm a VW guy. I'd much rather have a GTI or a GLI over these cars, but fantastic cars to drive. Super fun. Don't trust the longevity, but super fun to drive. But I prefer something that's a bit more refined, and that's just not something I got from the Hyundais. The Hyundais are super snappy and super fun to drive, but they don't feel refined to me, you know? For the 70s race, we've got the Skyline. I think this is the Hakosuka Skyline. I think that's what it was known as. The 240Z and the Giulia Sprint. This is a car that I like a lot. In terms of performance points, I mean, they're not terribly close. It's my wife's family. They're trying to mess with me and spook me. I don't know if they're trying to get in the house. Alright, so we've got that, and then the Porsche Cup Legends, which is obviously my lineup of choice. We've got the 991 GT3 RS, we have the 996 GT3. This one looks pretty well kitted out. Performance point wise, it's pretty close. The one that I would almost do is the 73 RS, the 901. This car infuriates me though. It is so unstable, it sends the rear flying. It's super not fun to drive. One of my least favorite cars I've driven in this game. Probably we'll go with this one. I think this will be the race we start off with today. The question is, though, which one do I want to drive? You know what? I'm going to go against the rule. I've driven a 991 RS, this exact spec. Maybe without the giant wing and the suspension and all that kind of stuff this car's probably got. But I've driven a stock 991 3RS around like an autocross course, and it was super fun. But I think I'm going to go with the 996. I don't think this car gets enough love. And we get a bonus. So it's a 5. That's the one thing that is kind of unfortunate. I have to pay money to do these, like in-game money. Thankfully, it's not a lot. But here we are. So should be fun. All right, let's hit the practice. Let's see what we can do out here, and see how we do. Because with the Peugeot, I didn't really feel great in it. I'm gonna skip through this. I've already read this. All right. So we have an hour for practice. We're at the Nürburgring Sprint course. This is the track that I've done pretty well at for a while. I don't know what kind of setup's on this car. Doesn't look like it's set up too well. We're still revving to about 7,500. All right, let's see what the dynamics of this is going to be like here. It's extremely planted, actually. I'm kind of impressed. I kind of figured this thing would be a nightmare. This was, you know, before the engine ticked forward a couple more inches with a 991. It's still rear engine, but not as much anymore. So obviously the goal will be to set a good lap time. The Peugeot, I was able to shave tons of time off my laps and pretty much destroyed the AI in this race. Alright. I totally expected this to be a super snappy car, but it's actually quite planted. It's definitely got a dog box in it, because these things only came in manual. This was a pre-PDK era Porsche. Oh yeah, that is gear wine for days in that cockpit view. Oh, was not expecting that. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, but I paid the price for it. Oh hey, at least I'll be out in front now to start the actual lap, the flyer. This is what I get for a lapse of judgment, guys. Or lapse of attention, really. But... Alright, here we go, flyer lap. Let's hope we don't do that again, but... Alright, so our time to beat's going to be a 142.2. I probably slowed down, I don't know if I can say that name, actually. The German guy in second. I don't know if I can say that. Oh, we got a little bit of understeer through there. We are in sports soft, so not racing hard, so we are going to be struggling a little bit in the front end grip department. But I'm happy to say that the typically oversteery, super wild rear engine-ness is not killing me too bad right now. As we head down the hill here, foot down. Probably did an English downshift in a second there. So the joy of this is an experience with cars that I have not given a whole lot of time to. A lot of this is the Peugeot. Even the 996 is a car that I've not put a whole lot of seat time in. A lot of my virtual seat time when it comes to 911s go into the 964, the 993, the 930, of course the 991 and 992s. But the 996 and the 997 have always been the two Porsches in this game that I have not really given a whole lot of time to. This is gonna be good. I don't think it's gonna be quite pole. Close. About 5/10 off. I think we can get that. There's just some spots on the track I gotta clean up my lines at. Oh yeah, that was good right there. That saved us 2/10 as is, but I kind of botched the line going into this corner. Alright, that right there is enough to take pole. Just this one little bit of gap here in the just between those couple corners, just getting improved in those corners there. All right, we're up a second, almost a second and a half now. I'm gonna do things a little bit different here. You guys saw in the last lap I downshifted into second right here. I'm gonna stay in third. I'm gonna kind of let the car do its thing a little bit. It's gonna get a little skatey on the front end. We're losing a little bit of time, a couple, hundredths at a time here, but not anything too crazy. I think as long as we nail this, we'll be fine. We're still gonna easily take top spot. Oh, maybe not. 134.6. I did a 135.9, was it? But I'm about to pull a 2-second gap. Might be enough to take it. Oh yeah, all day. 6/10 up now. So, the advantages of this practice session, you're able to just end. We can just end practice. So, look at that. Done. So that's that. We're ready to go into qualifier. So this will be the interesting one here. I don't know how this is gonna go. We got 10 minutes. Shut up, I know what I'm doing. I did the Manufacturers Cup earlier this year. I know how all this works. It's just racing AI instead of real people. I hear some air-cooled goodness over there. Probably I think, is that a 73 RS or is that a 930 I see on the chart here? That pink number 4 car. And the number 7 is definitely a 73 RS. I think the number 4 was the pink car was a turbo. It was a 930 turbo. Alright, we're out second out here in quali. So, just gotta kind of keep the rhythm that we had before. This car genuinely is pretty consistent, so it's gonna be all about finding the right line. So, like I said, the thing I'm struggling most with this car right now is it does not have a whole lot of front-end grip. It has plenty of rear-end grip. The rear end is gripping fantastically. I'm not having any problem with snap oversteer or anything like we did with the R33 at the beginning of this. Keep in mind, I believe they said that all the AI on this event is Sophie 3.0. So, the toughest AI the game has. But I'm not finding it to be as difficult as when I do custom races with Sophie. Because when I've done custom races, I'm genuinely fighting. This has not been quite as difficult. I could probably hold off a tiny bit more in the braking down to close to the 100 mark. Tiny bit of rear end slip there, but not anything to be too worried about. This thing generally is pretty good. I think, like I said, the biggest hang up for me is the front end grip is not there with this setup. It's just screaming the tires in some of these corners, and I'd imagine 90% of it is the front end. Alright, going down into turn 1 here. One of the corners that I've always struggled with in the Nürburgring has been this one, which I guess would technically be turn 3, turn 2 or turn 3. That was alright. I got on the brakes a little bit late there. That's going to kind of shoot me in the foot a little bit here. Like, my foot went there, but I just, for some reason, my brain was like, don't press it. One of my favorite sections of the Nürburgring, like GP courses right through here. Going to the chicane. Yeah, you can take brake zone all the way down to like the 100 mark, just about with this car. We're about to get our first time to beat. It's a 135.7. I think we might be pretty close to that, if not ahead. We're going to run a 1:35.3. Okay, so not terribly far ahead. I'm going to go again. I'm going to go another lap. And we're going to see if we can hold on. Because I ran a 1:34 at some point during practice. So the goal would be to run something relatively similar. Huh? Okay. 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 So yeah, we got a 1:34.9 to beat, or 1:34.5. Okay, so we are dropping down the order fast. Ooh, big slide there. So we got our work cut out for us. See how much time we gained back just going through that cleaner. All right, we're already back ahead, but I think I've shot myself in the foot a little bit there. It was a really rough exit on that corner. Luckily, we still got time, so I'm going to give another lap after this just because this could have been better. Currently sitting in third, so not a bad spot to be, but would prefer to be a little bit higher up the order, closer to pole if I can, but it's going to be a dogfight. Because the 996, as you guys saw, is at a disadvantage in comparison to the 991 that we were given the chance to pick. All right, we got 5 minutes left in quali. Let's try to squeeze a little bit more time out of this thing. I think we can do it, honestly. That little grass touch kind of shot me in the foot a little bit there. That felt way faster than before, but we're actually losing time. Now we're actually behind, which is interesting. This has been a fairly good lap, I feel like. All right, there we go. Much better, but we're still down about almost 8 tenths to pole. I don't quite know if we're actually able to make that up. Ah, see, we had it and then we lost it right there. Oh, we may get it. Oh, we got it. That's pole right there. All day. Only about 74 hundredths, but it is pole. All right, we're going to go back to the pit lane. We'll speed through this. That was scary close. I did not enjoy that all that much. Like, that took a lot of work. We may not get it after all. He may be able... Serrano here is our closest competitor. He may be able to sneak through and take it away again, but... I haven't seen anybody go purple, so we may get away with this. Ah, Inestrosa at the last second. That's unfortunate. Alright, so we're going to start in second. Not my favorite place to be, honestly. I bet it could be way worse. 5 laps, and the AI is... The AI. I mean, Sophie 3.0 is good, but I think we have a shot. Alright. So let's check out our grid. We've got about 11 cars on grid. We've got Inestrosa and a 992 Turbo S up front. A 5-second gap between me and him during quali. He snatched it at the last second. Got me in the 996 GT3. We have Serrano in the 997 GT3, Ura in the 992 3RS. Dumont in the 993 RS Clubsport. We've got Gallo in the 964 RS. You have Sasaki and the non-Clubsport 993RS. Kai de Bruin 991 3RS. Kind of surprised to see it that far down the list here. The 930 Turbo by Espinosa. We have that name that I don't know if I can say. And the other 996 GT3, and then Walters at the back of the pack, a whopping 13 seconds off pole in the 901 1973 Carrera RS. So should be a good race. Got 5 laps. I'm hoping that we can pull this off. The 996 GT3 is one of my favorite cars, so I'm hoping this goes well for me. Car I don't have a whole lot of seat time in, though. All right, 5 laps. That Turbo S is going to be a disaster on this straightaway. That's going to be the part where I think I might be in the most trouble, because obviously Turbo S is one of the fastest 911s ever made. I have Wade on my side, and I've got Arrow on my side, but he's got straight line speed. And on these back straights, it's going to be a nightmare to deal with. Here we go. And I love that they brought back the old rev pattern at the grid. If you guys played Gran Turismo 3 and 4 and all that stuff, and they had a very distinct like AI rev pattern at grid. And I've already fallen to 4th. The 992 RS has snuck through. And Serrano, the 997, was able to absolutely crush me out of the hole. Wow, we are falling behind real hard up here, going into the latter half of the first lap of the race. But I'm gonna give it my all here, because the 996 is definitely disadvantaged against those 3. That is incredible how he's able to absolutely destroy them in quality, but struggling in the actual race against these guys. We're actually losing ground to that 993 Clubsport behind. A bit of a risky dive bomb. Probably shouldn't have done that, and I'm surprised I didn't get reset. But it's AI. I honestly might need all the help I can get with this. But if I wanted to be a sportsman to the AI, I would let them re-overtake. But it's AI. I would try not to do that in a real race. And honestly, that was more of an error. It just worked out in my favor that I got the overtakes off. Oh man, they're trying to go 3 wide on me in a turn 1. That is ballsy. Man, I am making so many just tiny little mistakes. That Turbo S, though, is just running free. It's crazy how much power that 997 has in the straights. I'm not doing this car any favors, I don't think. We are actually gaining ground on an Astroza, the Turbo S. Oh my goodness, we got air. That kept the front end from, doing its job and turning the wheels. But we did get back in front. Unfortunately, on the wheel, I don't have a way to easily look back. I guess I can pull the radar. All right, we got 3 laps. We're very, 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 very slowly reeling in Astroza, and we got a lot of ground on Serrano in the 997, though, at some point. Now we've got a little bit of clean air. I might be able to chase that 992. But see, that's what I'm doing wrong here, is I'm cutting that corner a little bit too much. The front end grip issue is definitely rearing its head now. All right, we've gained a couple tenths, but he's just immediately running away on the straight here. it's going to be a battle to the end with this 992. I just got to kind of keep the ground on Serrano in that 997. I think that's might be my biggest threat right now, other than me messing up, apparently. We've lost all that ground we just made up. Golly, that Turbo S is just something else. I think even in the 991 RS, if I had chosen the easy route, I might be struggling. Man, this thing gets so upset by the curbs of that corner. All right, lap 4. Losing ground to both cars. The 997 is very quickly regaining all of its ground back on me. The front end grip just is not there. I'm trying my best, guys. This thing is just fighting me on the front end. The rear end is fine. I'm not having any problem with it being, you know, one of the more rearward sitting 911s I'm driving right now, but the front end is just not playing ball. If it was just a bit sharper on the nose, I would be doing a lot better. Yeah, I think the Turbo S is just a bit too much for this car. I'm able to start running away from the 997, and that, like I said, is kind of my biggest threat right now. This thing is obviously underpowered for this race, unfortunately. And like I said, the front end is just not playing nice, and I'm sure I could take a slightly less aggressive line going into that first corner of the S. But unfortunately, it looks like I might be fighting this a good bit here. Alright, final lap here. We are not doing too good in terms of keeping up with that Turbo S. I figured that was going to be a fight. I was really hoping that the aero advantage would really help me out here, because that is a mostly stock Turbo S. But unfortunately, all that extra power is, and the all-wheel drive, is just handing him this race. But hey, second place is not the worst, as long as I can keep it. That front end, just, goodness. Come on, 911. I can't really say that. Almost the entire grid is 911s. Alright, second place, could be worse. I figured that Turbo S kept us at about a 3-second gap almost the entire time. So that's unfortunate. We'll have to come back and do that again with one of the, maybe the 991 RS. Got a 3-star roulette ticket. We'll go claim that. Kind of bummed. I mean, I knew that Turbo S was going to be a nightmare. But, I mean, the 991 RS didn't even do all that good. Unless the car would have wound up in, but the 996 was towards the bottom.
GR.
What's up? What's up? Alright, 19 stars added to the total, which is just unfortunate because we need 40 to get that 250,000 credits right there. We may try one of these other, like, entry races here. I don't quite know if I have the patience for front-wheel drive right now, because those things honestly give me a headache. a lot of the time. Like, most of my driving style I've learned in front-wheel drive cars. I mean, I own a front-wheel drive car, but they tend to kick my tail a lot more than I care to admit. There's a lot of cool events coming up, though. We got a lot of cool ones. Of course, the one that has all the prize cars is going to be right in here. I think this one, the only prize car you get's the Beetle at the very end. That's after you do the Desert Beetle races. There's a 4-star roulette ticket. And then there's one more. There's another one on this branch. Is the Mustang. But this one, I think this green branch has more prize cars than the others. No, I'm wrong. Okay, so it looks like they didn't space out the prize cars all that much, but it looks like they actually did. The A86 Levin will be kind of nice. Of course, my main targets when it comes to the prize cars are going to be the Supra, which I cannot seem to locate on this map as is. I know you're around here somewhere. The Supra, the Beetle, and the 911 Rally. This 930 Turbo Rally car. Which is ironic, because I'm not a big fan of dirt Beetles, like Baja Bugs, or really the 911 Rally cars. But, you know, as a VW Porsche enthusiast, those are the ones I'm going to go after. I don't know where the Supra is, though. That's like the one that I'm, like, missing somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's right here. So, 80 stars. And I presume you kind of have to work your way through these. I doubt they all just unlock when you get that many stars. Let's see. The closest route to our first prize car would be to go through here. Would be to go muscle cars to the roulette ticket. You got the 2 Desert Beetle races and then the Beetle. Or even the 930, actually. Because there's just 3 events from the 930. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, like 3 events from the Beetle, and then we are 1, 2, 3. Well, those also have a lot more star counts. But anyway, let's go claim our 3-star roulette ticket first, and then we'll bump back over to the power pack stuff. I doubt we're going to get anything too good out of that, but it's always nice to just look, you know? I only didn't get the pennies, so that's a win in and of itself. 10 grand, I'll take it. You're probably wondering what I did with the 5 million credits. A lot of people are probably curious because, you know, if you buy the power pack, you get 5 million credits. I built a ton of cars yesterday. I got, obviously, the all the cars that came in the update, minus the Mines GTR, because it cost 3 million credits. And I figured I'd get more bargain for money buying more cars than just buying one car and burning up 80% of it. So I got the FTO, the Panda, the 296s, I got the F3500 and the Espace. I did not get the Mines or the Polestar. Not a big Volvo fan, but it's mostly someone that owned one that ruined them for me. But anywho, yeah, the Mines is just the money. But I probably will get the Polestar at some point just for the completion record and then just sell it right after. But I got everything else, and I've heard the FTO is a really solid car for 700, like the Lasar grind race. So, might be a good choice for that. Maybe I'll do a build on that someday. But I got the 296, which I did build to a 700 performance point car, and I've actually had a lot of fun with it. I don't enjoy the sound of the road car with the racing exhaust. It sounds rough. It's not my favorite sound out there. The GT3, on the other hand, is super fun. It's honestly up there among my favorite GT3 cars I've driven in this game, or Group 3. The F3500B is a bit of a basket case for me. I'm kind of bummed that it had a V8. Or in one of the early reveal trailers, it sounded like it had a V10 in it, so I assumed it was a V10 F1 car, and then it comes out with a V8, and that kind of bummed me out a little bit. But it's not a bad car by any means. I've had a decent bit of fun with it. I can get the Espace V10, because the Espace does have a V10 F1 engine, so you swap it into the 3500B, and you're off to the races. I left this one with a V8 for now. I'm going to get a second one at some point that is going to be V10 swapped. So that way I have both a V8 and the V10. I just have the smorgasbord of formula cars, which is something I've always done with this game. I've got all the super formulas. I believe all 4 of them. Maybe 2 of them. I may have 1 of each. I have a 19 Honda and a 23 Toyota. And then I have all the other F1 cars the game has, minus the licensed ones. The RA272 and the MP44, I think are the only ones I'm missing. And obviously that Mercedes one, that's like 20 million credits. But in terms of the other ones, I have them. I have the 3500A, I've got the 3500B, I've got the 1500 TA, like all that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's. I'm gonna jump out of the skyline for a minute here. Let's go back to. I mean, there's the TT we used last time. I'm not gonna drive any of these. It's more just for funsies, or the GTI that I've been racing with for years. It's based on my real car. Well, that one's not based on my real car. I just have a Mark 7. All right, power pack. Let's go back to this. Excuse me. Let's see what else we can do here. Trying to think. Maybe we'll try the muscle car introduction race. And I think it's obvious. We've got 3 different choices here. What are those wheels, first off? Those are ugly. Those are the ugliest wheels I've ever seen on a Camaro. The Roadster Rampage has, like, a ton of aero that I think will outclass the ZL1. But at the same time, I don't expect it to be, like it weighs a couple hundred pounds more. You know, it might be a little bit more controlled. I really don't know. I don't think I'm going to go with the Mach 40. Because not only does it look like we're going to be playing hardball, considering we're almost 20 performance points behind the ZL1. I think we're going to go with the ZL1. It's just the car I know the best. I've spent a lot of seat time in this game. I've driven the SS and the ZL1 pretty good bit. So we're going to go with the ZL1 for this. And I think it'd probably make this the easiest, honestly. In these introduction races, I don't really care all that much about the challenge. Alright, let's go to practice. We have to go through the spiel again. We are on Racing Hards this time, which is nice. Except they got some engine work because we're revving to 7,000. Man, put it in second, game. Come on. Alright, we're going to put the... well, we're not actually racing yet. We'll leave it without... Goodness. He's barreling into turn 1. Alright, let's see if I regret my choice here. Woo, okay. They have definitely dialed this back. I've always said if I went back to owning a domestic vehicle, I used to have a Ford Explorer. And I always said if I went back to domestic, this generation Camaro would be one of the first choices. The 6th Gen Camaro is probably one of my favorite. I've sat in a couple of them. I've actually sat in this ZL1 when I leave. The day my mom bought her current car, I was with her at the dealership, and they had one of these. And it was even white, if I remember correctly, in the showroom. And they were like, "Oh, go pop a squad in it." A little bit. I messed around with the shifter. I think it was a stick car as well. I think that was back when the 1LEs were only manual. And it was actually a pretty cool car to sit in. I didn't get to drive it, obviously, because I was still, you know, in my teens at the time. And they were definitely not going to let someone my age in one of these things, but it was pretty cool. Pretty cool experience. I recently did the circuit experience on this and got all golds on it in that Viper. And let me tell you, this track is scary in that Viper. It's such a challenge to nail that right. But you think that knowledge would help me out here, and it's really, I'm still struggling a little bit getting used to this car. It's not a hard car to drive. It's just there are still, like, my brain is still set to that 996. So I'm having to, like, kind of tell it to chill out, that we're driving something completely different. A lot more power, all the weights up front, like instant torque. Instead of where the GT3s, you know, you got to rev them out. We have to move that braking zone back, and it definitely gets unsettled right there. So the corners to watch are going to be, what would that be, turn 3, and then the corkscrew. Otherwise, it's a fairly solid, predictable car. I mean, the fact we're already in second in practice and that had that mishap at the corkscrew. I don't know. What counts as turn one? Does this count, or the other? Or is that kind of bend going into that corner count? Ooh, the sausage curb's gonna be something to watch out for. I totally forgot this track has them like that. Could almost stay in fourth there. I'm just believing the game a little bit too much, but we are absolutely bulldozing the time that we had. I'm going to move this braking zone back. That's much better. A lot more stability coming through the corkscrew. Probably could have braked a little bit earlier for that, but it's okay. It worked out. This is a dream of a lap. Except for that. Oh, I just had to dip that wheel in the dirt. That is unfortunate. That was a solid lap, too. I felt great. Oh, the sausage curve got me there a little bit. It very, 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 very upset that car. All right. What was I just talking about? That I could go through that corner in fourth. She got a little shady there. That kind of cost me a lot. Around the final corner. Man. Still not quite enough for the best lap. See, that was the line right there. I think I needed to be a bit more aggressive coming out of there, but otherwise, that was a pretty solid little turn. Come on. There we go. Much better. Well, the catch was. The corner was terrible, but... Alright, gonna keep it in fourth. See, look at that. Already just absolutely ripping away. Alright, now I'm just going to keep the back end happy as we head into the latter half of this lap. And not hit the sausage curve either. Alright. Be a bit more gradual. The acceleration, oh man, it's still kicked out. But it is definitely enough for the fastest lap, so we're going to go ahead and return to pit lane here and end practice. So I feel good. I feel good. I'm a bit happier with this than I was in the 996. It definitely still wants to snap, but it's a lot more like expected with this car. Whereas with the 996 in that last race, it just understeered horrible. There was just no front end grip. So those front tires were just begging for mercy, and the car just couldn't do anything about it. This, though, like, I feel like I can predict when it's going to snap like that. obviously might have to be a little bit better. I mean, this car does make a ton of torque. I mean, even though it's tuned down, I don't know if it'll show us the car settings at all, which doesn't appear that it will. But I'm imagining it's still in like the 500 pound-feet of torque area, somewhere in there, being supercharged and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's definitely going to be a bit more snappy and like more playful than probably the majority of the like other cars will drive throughout this whole process. So. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing to expect, really, is just to play nice with the throttle a little bit more. We're going to hear the spiel again about how qualifying works. I know how this works, because we're still doing the introductory races. All right, here we go. We're going to try to get out of the grid first thing. Clean air. The more clean air, the better. I think we did get out first, so that's good. We're in a good spot. All right, here we go. Our out lap. I think there is a tire warm-up period in this game. I think they actually do have tire temps and stuff modeled quite well. They just don't really advertise it all that much. Because I've always noticed the out lap, these cars don't drive as good. Like 1 or 2 laps in, they really start to come alive. What's cool about this too, and I've been back and forth on this whole thing of them like forcing you to pick a car, is it's realistic in that way. Because 9 times out of 10, when you're a racing driver, like an actual professional, you don't get to pick what you drive. Now I know for the gaming world, like obviously, oh, I want to use the car that I built and I set up myself and know how to drive. But when you're in real motorsport, you don't really get that choice. When you're just a driver and you're not, you know, one of those driver owner type situations, you don't usually get a choice. You sign with a team and you drive what they give you. So that's kind of like the mindset I believe they went with this, which I like, honestly. I do wish we had a bit more control over the settings of these cars, because there are some things I would change, especially with that 996. I would have made it a lot more sharp in the suspension. I probably would have stiffened up the rear a little more and tried to introduce more oversteer, because that was the problem. The rear end grip was fantastic in that car, but it just didn't have anything up front. This is perfectly settled. I can get it to easily rotate. I can get it to, kick out the rear a little bit, be a little bit of a showboat, but it's generally planted really well. Like if I tell this car to go somewhere, it's going to go exactly where I tell it to go. It's not going to be like, okay, I'm aiming for the apex, I'm going to go in the gravel trap here because there's no front end grip, or it's wrong drive and just inherently understeers. This car is like, I'm going to aim it here and it goes right where I want it to. I can aim it right for this apex marker and it goes right for the apex marker. Like, there's no drama with this car, which is perfect. I mean, it's got a sharp nose, it's got a good bit of rotation in the back to help it corner. It's exactly what I'm looking for in a race like this, where that matters. All right, watch the sausage curve. This is going to be where I need to improve the most. You guys saw it was a lot better that time. I didn't quite send it flying, but that's the part that I'm going to need to really practice. And this corner, because if I mess this line up, it's going to completely ruin me for the entire lap. I learned that during the circuit experience. That corner means a lot more to a lap than you would think. And being nice on the throttle, you don't want to stab this car. All right, we're a second and a half up, which is great, but my goal is to get a good lap that's representative of my actual driving skill. And so far, I mean, this is pretty all right. I just need to really figure out my line at the last corner and figure out that throttle application coming out of that corner. If you're watching that throttle bar, you can see the traction control is definitely intervening and it's definitely making its presence known. We do have a challenger ahead, and it does not surprise me one bit that it's at 9th, because those things are boats. he's going to hold me up. See, that completely scuffed me. Oh, that really shot me in the foot because I lost pole right around that time. I really needed that car out of the way. We got 5 minutes. Excuse me, I got more than enough in this lap to take pole. But like I said, I'm trying to just get a really good solid lap in where I just feel 100% comfortable with this car. Like, I already feel pretty comfortable with it, but if I can get a really, really solid lap, I slowed down a little bit too much for that corner. I saw I lost a lot of time there. Oh, I completely botched that. That sucks. Lost a ton of time. Man, I'm going to be starting on the back foot again. I think I might be, honestly, because that was absolutely awful. But we gained 5/10 just by not spinning out right there. And that, I think, is going to be pretty hard to beat. So I think we're safe. Not bad. Could have been better. Was I just talking smack about the Challenger, and then it's the car that beat me out for pole for a second there. Excuse me. Oh yeah, I think me and Indestroza are going to be up top. We've definitely got that going for us. I don't think he's going to take pole from me at all, but I'm watching him here. He did take it. Golly. Only by like less than a 10th. That's fine. You know what? That's fine. Had I not botched that corner directly after the corkscrew, probably would have been a lot better. Alright. Alright, this should be good. So, our grid. We've got the Demon up front. We've got me in second in the ZL1. We've got another Demon behind us. A Mach 40, a GT350R, which probably would have been my first choice had it been available. The Rampage, another ZL1. We've got, I lost the spot, another Demon. The Maverick, another Rampage, another ZL1, another Rampage, a 350R, a Mach 40, the last ZL1 in 15th, and I believe, I've already forgot, but I think it was another Rampage in dead last. It was a Maverick, okay. So, this should be good. Alright, 4 laps at Laguna. Should be an interesting race. Rolling start as well, which is really beneficial for these cars. Obviously, in the straights, that Camaro is going to be, or the Demon, I should say, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare to catch. So, we just got to trust this car to make up the ground. It's going to be a good race. I hate the wheels that they put on this Camaro, though. It's really unfortunate. Man, how long and drawn out this rolling start is. It makes me think so much of Gran Turismo 4 over starting. Okay, we're not even starting at the actual start line. That's interesting. Well, he got a lot of wheel spin coming out of that corner. So like I thought, he's going to rip away from me on the straightaway. Let's make it count here. be a battle. That Demon's actually holding on surprisingly well. I did not expect it to handle that good out here. But we made up a lot of ground right there already. I'm not feeling brave enough to go for an overtake at the corkscrew, but I was going to use it to close in on him, really. That execution could have been a lot better coming out of there, but it's okay. We got several laps to go. Oh, shoot. I did not mean to spin him out. Whoops. Okay. Well, that sucks. That's not how I wanted to win at all. I mean, that is going to absolutely hand me the win, but that's not how I wanted that to go. See, the sportsman thing to do would be to let him come back around, but if I do that at this rate, it's going to jeopardize the whole race for me. So I may wait until he builds a gap back up, if he does, and let him back around. Because that's not how I want to win this race, you know? You know what? I'm just going to go really slow, let him catch back up. We'll see if we can let him get back around. That's not the way I want to win this race. Oh, he fell behind bad. Well, that's fine, because now I've just made this way complicated for myself. It's actually a Demon up there. And Estroza fell all the way to 6th because of that little accident there. That sucks. Not how I wanted to win this race, but now I'm not winning, so now I don't feel as bad. Oh, the Shelby snuck up there. I like to see that, because I really like the GT350R. I think it's probably the best board since the 1314 GT500. I still like the 1314 GT500 more. Don't get me wrong, but I love the GT350. All of us getting sideways coming out of that corner. Oh, I got the other ZL1 dive bombing me now. Maybe I should not have let him pack past, because I have now dropped to 5th because I was trying to be a good sport after spinning him out. Getting a little brazen here. Oh my goodness. Inestrosa getting revenge. That's really unfortunate. That may have shot me in the foot trying to be a good sport. That may have really shot me in the foot trying to be nice after spinning that car out. At this point, my goal is just to get back into a podium spot. It's going to be really hard to do, but I should not have let them pass. No, you've got to be kidding me. On the last lap. Oh my gosh. You've got to be joking. On the last lap, on the last corner. That is so unfortunate. I should not have let those cars pass. I would have won that. That's really unfortunate. That's what I get for being a good sport, I guess. Trying to right my wrong and, you know, take a car out on lap 1. It's not my favorite way to win, but it's what happened. Got our first little prize ticket there. Which unlocked the next, our first race at the Nordschleife. Oh, man. That sucks. So, but we are headed to Road Atlanta next. I think I am going to do this again here. This is a track that I know quite well. It's actually my home track, so we'll do this. Because I know I can win this on merit. And not have to worry about accidentally spinning the car out. Honestly, this is going to be a bit arrogant of me, but I'm going to go ahead and skip practice. And go straight to qualifying. I feel really confident in this car. This is a track I know extremely well, and I'm going to trust it. I'm going to trust my gut and trust my knowledge of this track more than I probably should, honestly. But considering I have not won a single one of these with you guys on stream so far today, which is really embarrassing. Of course, that last one I would have easily won, but I was just trying to be a good sport after crashing that one car out. But now we're on my home turf. I've got home field advantage. You guys know I know this track so well. This is, like I said, this is my home track. I've been here several times. Have yet to drive it, but I've ridden on this track. And I've watched, you know, the Petit Le Mans twice here in person. I've done thousands of laps of this track virtually. This is the race. If I'm going to absolutely run away with on this, this is going to be it. Same look for our Camaro too. I think it's even the same number. Turn 8's always been my enemy. If I make any mistakes during the actual final, that'll be where it's at. Braked a tiny bit too late. gotta be joking. A little sloppy through the S's. Now see, I went really slow through that corner because this Camaro in front. You see, I'm actually surprisingly gaining time. I guess because I've got a bit of a tow right now. Take advantage of that bit of a slipstream that just got me. See, but then he got back in front of me, which just completely ruined it for me. Alright, we're going to see if we can improve it all in this lap. If we don't, I'll call it. I'm driving the wheels off this thing. So far, we've got about another almost 3/10 up. Should get a little bit closer to that car to get a bit of a tow off of it, but it's fine. We're still ahead, but we are definitely losing ground. In fact, we're about to go back under. Wow, we're getting a ton of time. All right, I'm gonna try to trust this thing. Come on. Oh, that was almost bad. Yeah, I think that's going to be about as good as we'll get, honestly. All right, not bad. I'm going to highly doubt an Nostroza can beat that. That's a giant gap. Whew. I think I might have this one. We'll see. Nostroza's about to make his last run. He went to pit lane. All right. Yeah, we got pole. I think that's a given. All right. First pole of the stream. All right, 6 laps at my home track. This should be a bit of a shoe-in. I'm a bit confident, but we'll see. So, that demon gave us trouble at Laguna, spun him out at the end of lap 1, felt terrible about it. Let a couple cars pass by accident, not trying to keep that many cars, and just wasn't able to recover afterwards. So, learn my lesson here. If anything happens, let it happen. Because if I try to be a good sport, they're just going to completely bulldoze me. Alright, we are front and back on the grid here with ZL11 Elise, so I'm going to have some work to do with this Camaro. Alright. Oh man, what a bulldoze of a start, going right into 10A and 10B to start the race. Luckily, I'm relatively good at 10A and 10B, so. Lift a tiny bit, not a ton, but just not full throttle. There's a specific way you can cut that corner. If I go too much farther to the right, it's going to send the car airborne. But I've kind of gotten that line down really well here. Not my best turn 5, but I've done worse. All right, turn 8. My least favorite corner in the whole track. If you guys have seen me play iRacing, you see it caught me there. And Estroza's going to probably punish me a little bit for that. You can see he's already closing back in because of that move. And the fact that the Challenger Demon definitely has me on the straights here, which unfortunately is about half of Road Atlanta's straight. I will say, riding on this track, I rode in a C8 Corvette on this track back in September, and going at 140 on that straightaway in a real car is an experience that is just ridiculous. You can only imagine doing that for 10 hours, 11 hours, however long Petit Le Mans actually goes on for, because that's brutal. Take turn 1 a little bit slower than I did last lap. We're already almost 3 seconds up on an Estroza. Completely different outcome from Laguna, that is for sure. So far, this has been my favorite car of the Power Pack to drive so far. I had a lot of fun during the first introduction race I did, which was the GTI, doing the Peugeot. That was a pretty fun little car, but this is more my speed. Front engine, rear wheel drive, a little bit of aero, and pretty predictable handling. This car, I feel like if it made stock power, would not be this easy to drive. This thing's actually pretty easy in its current setup. Lost a lot of ground there to Estroza on the straightaway, as expected. Unfortunately, this car does not have the top end of that Demon, and I don't know if it's making stock power. I know this isn't. This is down-tuned, for sure. I think I remember it was in the 400s somewhere, which is like SS territory. I don't know why they didn't just use a modified Camaro SS for this instead of down-tuning the 1LE. I guess maybe it just drives that much better. Dang, we blew him my way in the S's. Aero mount, or aero mounts, aero counts. I was trying to say matters and counts at the same time. I mean, aero does mount to the car, so that's where aero counts. It's the S's, which that Challenger definitely does not have. I mean, look, if you're watching up on the time left at the leaderboard, you see the Demon just closes in on the straight. He's pulling, you know, almost a half-tenth on me every second. Well, lap 4. We're holding strong, guys. No incidents this time. I can just go. I don't have to be all, oh man, I feel bad for the AI. I can just run. See, if I hit that a little bit faster, probably would have sent the car airborne. That was a really aggressive cut going to the top of that corner. which definitely messed my approach of the S's. It's crazy how that one corner can kind of dictate how the S's is going to go. You mess up your line there, it's going to mess everything up. And that may just be a me thing, honestly, but I think I'm a little hot there. You guys might remember I was pretty sick during the last live stream I did. There are still little aspects of that illness that are still hanging on for dear life, even though it's been a couple weeks. Still have a bit of a cough. A little skatey. Went out of 10A, 10B. All right, 2 laps to go. Pretty commanding lead, I would say. Should not have gone to the third. I don't know what I was thinking. Squeeze that throttle. Let's see. No, we're still losing ground. Oh, never mind. We went from 4.9 back into the 5s on the gap to the demon behind. Luckily, still able to hold our own for sure. All right, 10A and 10B. Here we go once again. You know what? I kind of want to build a SS. To see how it would perform compared to this. Like a full built SS, maybe keep it relatively stock power, but do aero, and all that good stuff. I don't know if you can. I have an SS. I can go look after this is over, because this should give a pretty good payout for winning. Man, closing in on almost 6-second gap after fighting for pole at Laguna Seca. The same setup, same opponent, same car. A little bit of carbon view at the end of this. When I'm not in when I don't have the VR, I pretty much run the hood view constantly. I got very used to that in Gran Turismo 4. And that kind of became my default camera view in almost every racing game ever. Heck yeah. Yeah, that was a demolish right there. 95 grand. No clean race bonus, unfortunately. I don't know why I didn't get that, honestly. I didn't hit anything the entire race. Like, I was just running away. Huh. I don't know. Maybe I cut turn, what would that be, turn 2? A little bit too aggressive? I don't know. The game maybe didn't like how much I cut one of the corners. Well, it's another 20 stars. And now we have a prize ticket, a 4-star roulette ticket. Okay, and then up here we've got Vet. That is a reference to Gran Turismo 4, if I remember correctly. What do we got here? I actually, okay. This is kind of cool, this livery. It looks like a down-tuned C5R kind of look. However, whenever I do this race, I'll probably pick the C8 just because I've been in one. I know how they're supposed to drive. Unfortunately, my circle button for this wheel is seeming to be malfunctioning. I don't know why, but we are pretty close to getting the Beetle. That might be our next choice. We have do a spot of rally, you know? Do this, and then we've got Sardinia and Willow Springs, Big Willow, and then we can get our own Beetle Desert Racer. So, but first, let's take a bit of a break and go pull that roulette ticket and see what we got from that before we go and do those. Because I'm probably about to have to leave in about an hour or so. I don't know, maybe about an hour or so. Let's go visit my parents. So, we got 370Z. Could be worse. Probably not going to keep this car. Don't know why I would, honestly. I'm going to see if this is the color it came in first. Well, I had to. Titanium gray. That sounds like a factory color for these. I already have one of these fully built. I don't see a reason to have this car. Let's take a look. I'm like 99% sure. Yeah, there's my other 370. I'm pretty sure this car came in this color. So, if it's not a special color variant, I'm not going to keep it. I don't know if they do that in this game, honestly, like special colors. Okay, yeah, it's not a special color. It's titanium gray right there. So we're just going to get rid of this thing. So we're going to switch over cars. We're going to go, I don't know. And we'll go sell that 370. Don't have a reason to keep it, really. I really don't. Let's do manufacturer. Might be faster. Probably won't be, honestly. Oh, it might be. Yeah, it might be. Okay, where are you at? Got two. Oh, I got 3 Z's. If I'm gonna keep one, I'm gonna keep the titanium gray. I like it more than the white. It's worth the same. I can't sell another copy of it today, but yeah. Alright. So that's right. I was gonna go check the Camaro. Let's see if it's got options for more aggressive aerodynamics. The SS. Because I do have one. Where are you hiding at? There you are. As you can tell, the inspiration in Garage 24. Or Garage 56. 24 is the number. That's what got me. Garage 56 Camaro. Which I've seen the car in person. I've never seen it drive. But they had it at Petit Le Mans. And I was like fangirling over it. Okay, so there is a pretty good aero option. It looks very much like the 1LE wing, though. So not quite useful for me in my case. So we'll just keep the setup it's got. But we technically can build a track weapon Camaro. There's got to be more to do with this thing. 720 horsepower does not seem like a whole lot. No engine swaps. Is there more room on this car? Let's take a look. Because I feel like this car can make way more power. Okay. It's NA still. Yeah, that's it. But this car was meant to emulate the Garage 56 car, so that's why it's not supercharged. That's probably why I will not be supercharging it. I mean, 720 NA horsepower is pretty crazy. Okay, so that settles that. We can put aero on this car. I'm not going to because of what this build is supposed to be. The other one, on the other hand, the other Camaro I have, which is a 1LE. If you played the old games, you know this livery. And this car is mental. This car is absurd. So we'll just kind of peruse in that for now, but we're going to go back to the power pack. I did use the 4-star roulette, so that's what got the Z. So yeah, let's go back to the power pack. We're going to head on over to that Desert Beetle race. We're starting to run low a little bit on time. So I'm going to do the Desert Beetle because I want to get to a prize car. And that is our window, is these two events here. We got 3 laps at Sardinia. I don't understand the difference. There are 3 different Desert Beetles. So you got one that's like So this one's significantly faster. I mean, so that's crazy numbers, horsepower-wise, for a bug. We're just gonna pick the easier one, honestly. I'm not really caring all that much to have that much more of a challenge, considering that there are more aggressive events in this. But all right, let's take it out for our practice run. I skipped it last time, being kind of cocky. This time I'm not, because this is new. This is a car I've never driven before. In fact, this is new to the game. This is an exclusive car instead of the Power Pack. This, the 930 Rally, and the Supra, the A8611 Drift Tune, all that kind of stuff is unique. Now see, I'm not that good at dirt racing. I love the turbo flutter. Oh, goodness gracious. So this will be a unique experience for sure. It's quick though, we're going over 100 miles an hour in dirt, like. This setup, though, the power this car has on a regular bug would be broken. Because this thing's pretty, like, got some pep in it still. Okay, it's 5-speed transmission. That's unusual for a bug. I grew up with these cars, so I know a lot about Beetles. Alright, we're going to get ready to go on our first flyer here in a moment. Wasn't paying that much attention. That's going to shoot me in the foot for a good lap. Oh gosh, dang it. Okay, this is going to be real interesting. Dirt racing has never been my strong suit. I may have grown up in redneck country, but I've never touched a speck of dirt in a car. Oh, then parking a car in the grass. That is about as much dirt as I've driven on. I've done a little bit of rally stuff in this game, and obviously I did a lot of it back in the day. Because when I was a kid, my dream was to be a rally driver, but there's not really a whole lot of places to really learn rally in the United States. I mean, there's Dirtfish, but back when I was learning to drive, that wasn't really a thing that existed. I think it may have just opened, and I just hadn't heard of it when I was 16. Which is crazy to believe. It was 10 years ago now. All right, here we go. Let's see where we stack up. Not great, apparently. Back we're in 4th. I blame part of that on that spin outs that we had up here at this corner. And that alone made up enough to take the top spot in practice. For the most part, I lost ground because I was trying to be cautious, but pretty fun little car to drive, though. Good numbers. I mean, 175 horsepower is no joke for a bug. I mean, these are peppy little, like lightweight little cars. I've debated for a while picking up one of these, like obviously not a desert car, but like a Beetle in general, and like using it as a track rat instead of like building a super aggressive, like modern track car. But I don't know. I would have fun with it, but at the same time, it's like one of those cars where they're kind of hard to buy parts for now. And if I ever went into something like Time Attack, I would get extremely outclassed. And that should be the fastest lap. Okay, that's pretty shocking that I was able to do that so fast, because this is not a car that I know very well. Alright, here we go. Qualifier. This should be real interesting. A lot of turbo flare in this thing, which I like, honestly. It's kind of cool. Noisy little turbo. Alright, now if I can just have a lap like that, I probably won't do another quali lap, because this is just, I'm probably just going to go for it, honestly, because it's more the stars I'm after than the results. Obviously, I'd love to win as many of these as I can. Rally, unfortunately, is not my strong suit, so... See, how high is this thing revving out? I mean, just about 6,000 RPM is good for a bug engine. I've seen some that rev out to 7, which is ridiculous for a little push rod flat 4 from pretty much from the 30s, if you think about it. All the way back to the beginning of these cars. I know that 90% of people who play this are like, oh my gosh, only 175 horsepower, ugh. But 175 horsepower in a bug, if you've ever watched a drag racing bug, they don't make a ton of power. They really don't. They rely a lot on being small and lightweight, which Beetles are absolutely lightweight. My dad, back when I was a little kid, had one. Obviously, like I said, I grew up with these cars. And they're so lightweight and so just kind of flimsy, honestly, that he said it felt like it was going to fall apart driving it on the interstate. And it's not like it was a super old car at the time. I mean, that's just back in the 90s. I mean, my dad's car specifically was about 20 years old at the time. This was a 75. And, I mean, that's just how they're built. They're just very basic structures, not super tight chassis. I mean, it's a pretty subdued car. But they weigh nothing, which is what makes them really good track cars. And they're still rear-wheel drive. They may not make a ton of power, like on their own, but when you build them up, you soup those motors up, they are a blast. In fact, the Turbo Beetle I have on here that I've been running with, it's like just a for fun car. Like, I don't even drive it competitively. I put around in it on track, and I love it. It's one of my favorite cars in this game. That's not even the 911 swap car. That's, you know, flat 4 with a big old turb ski on it, which I'm hoping they've added a little bit of juice to that setup. They've added in a way to either put this specific version of the Beetle engine that they're running in this car in it, or you know, something of that nature, or they've added like a new turbo kit for the standard bug. All right, 136.9. I feel like it's gonna be fast enough. I mean, that's a pretty hot lap. Maybe not. We may get bumped out of here pretty quick. Yep. There's not a big gap between Solace and myself here. There's still a lot of time left. Okay, I got 3 minutes remaining. Pretty much everybody's going back out. gonna go, honestly. I'll be fine starting in second. Third might be a bit of a challenge, but I'm just kind of keeping an eye on this. It's not a big jump between myself and pole. So we'll just see. Okay, so Solus isn't taking it. Okay, I think I'm pretty safe. Yeah, pretty safe in second here. Alright. I'm going to take a very quick bathroom break. I'll be right back. Alright. So this will be a very interesting one. It's going to be a tight race, I think. I mean, we're starting in second, which I think is pretty good considering this is my first time driving these things. It'll be fun. I'm excited to see how this goes. Alright, let's get started. We got 3 laps. So, pretty simple race, honestly. Should be a pretty painless run. Alright, we got Bonelli up front. We got me in second here. Solus behind that. I think that's going to be, like that trio, me and the guy up front and Solus are going to be pretty tight throughout this race. Oh man, not enough RPM at the start there. Solus didn't manage to get around me, but I got back around him, so we're good. I'm gonna put the radar on so I can see him, everybody a little bit better as we head down the hill here. Oh, come on, don't do this to me on lap 1. Okay, we got the lead. Now I just gotta hang on to it. Oh my goodness, Rin is coming unglued. Oh man, that's unfortunate. That was a big wreck that really shot me in the foot there. I don't think there was any contact. I think that was just genuine skill issue. But, I mean, honestly, we're not having a terribly hard time catching back up and maybe able to pull the lead back, but not the best start to this race. Alright, Solus has the lead now. We've got 2 laps to go. Come on, back into P4. All right, we're making moves very slowly. And we got Solus, Carrazza, and Bonelli directly ahead. Oh man, came in way too hot there. Man, I'm struggling in the final. I was doing pretty okay during practice and quali, but I guess when you have pretty clean air, that's how it's been. Lost the position again there to Jeffrey. I'll try to take a wider line through here, see if I can kind of make that back up, and we did. See, I'm carrying a lot of speed uphill, and I think that is what's saving me. That's what's saving my bacon here. Back into the podium positions. And took fastest lap. As we head into the final lap here. Oh my goodness. That was a lot of unhappy front suspension behavior. Alright, this has been the make or break corner for me this entire run. Man, I'm hoping I can bring this one back here in the last lap. It's going to be tough. Not terribly far behind to begin with, and we were able to pull a lot of speed back right through this sector. But I don't think it's going to be enough to save me this time. So we may be able to steal second at the last minute. No, it's not going to be enough. Ah, man. Crash in the first lap absolutely cooked me, but like I said, rally is not my strong suit. Clean race bonus somehow. I mean, I'll take it, but like, dang. So they've definitely upped the difficulty with these races. This has definitely been way harder than a lot of the other events I've done in this game. Alright, next Desert Beetle race. We're at 3 laps of the Willow Springs Big Willow. Same cars. Not really anything too different here. And then after this we'll unlock the actual prize car. So, and that'll probably be where we call it, honestly. It's already about 5 o'clock. I've been streaming for a good bit, actually. It's been one of the longer streams we've done in this game in a while. I don't even remember when we started this. I think it was around like 2:30 or 3-ish. We have been live. Well, it's not telling me anymore. It used to tell me, how long I've been live for, but, now it's not wanting to tell me. That's okay. Let's see here. Oh, it's been about 2 hours. Yeah, only about 2 hours. All right. So this is gonna be our last event of the day. Got practice starting. Now we're on road tires in the same car, so this is gonna be a bit different than what we just did with the dirt behavior. Which this car actually is kind of fun to throw around in the dirt. I hate that it kind of became a handful towards the end of that race, or at the beginning of the race. Honestly, it was fine the rest of the race. We're going to see how this Desert Beetle handles a road course now. The advantage of Beetles, they don't take a whole lot of steering input, but it is definitely wanting to step the rear end out a lot. Okay, it is a 5-speed, it's not a 6. But it's just interesting because 5 speeds aren't really a thing with these cars. I mean, there's a way to do it. It's really hack jobby to get a 5th gear in the Beetle. It's still geared like the 4-speed though, goodness. But Sports Hards is a very interesting choice of tire. For something that is got a ton of ride height, very soft suspension. I think they would have gone a bit more grippy on the tire selection. See, the car's lost over there. Okay, I've got a little bit more room on this corner. That's why I'm partaking in practice this time. Braking zone is going to be just before the 50-meter mark. I'd say about 75 meters before the corner. Still absolutely love the turbo flutter they gave this Desert Beetle. It's really intoxicating. Willow Springs has been a track I've actually struggled at a lot. So I'm not expecting to do perfect out here, but if I can just do okay. See, I did it again. I started hitting the brakes too early. It's nice as those cars, you can go flat out through here and you don't even have to give it a whole lot of steering input. Alright. I don't know how this is going to go, to be honest. Races like this, it kind of reminds me of the Beetle Cup from Gran Turismo 3, just a lot different. Using the classic bug instead of the modern one. That'd have been really cool if they did something like the fun, I think it's called the Fun Bug series over in Europe, what they do, where it's like they're slammed and they've got a ton of aero to them, and they're really fast. I think they used to do a support race at Lassar before Le Mans. That turbo flutter is intoxicating. Alright, I gotta trust this thing a little bit more coming through here. Because I can brake a lot later than I think I can. Whoops. Alright, first flyer lap. Now. Now it's our first flyer lap. We're getting the start lines way farther ahead than I expected it to be. Always expected to be about halfway down the straight, not all the way to the end of it. Alright, so this corner we can kind of hold through fourth gear. We can also just tap the brakes, really. We don't even really have to brake all that much. GCS is intervening a good bit there. Just don't need to give it a whole lot of steering input. Here we go. It is a fun car. I feel like, though, if they did a more track version of this to go with this car, I would love it a lot more. I think it'd be really cool if they had just done a 935 as well. Let's go with the 911 rally car. See, I braked early again. See if I can do better through here than I did last lap. Much better. On 34.0, I think that's probably not going to be much better, honestly. I think there's not really a whole lot of room to improve on this. But I was purple all 3 sectors, so it might be, honestly, it sounds like it might actually be tough for this AI to take it. Which I don't get. I really don't feel like I was pushing the car that hard. Like, I felt like there was still a lot for me to learn. It does have that stereotypical Beetle idle, though. Who I'm watching is Bonelli. Doesn't quite take it. Let's see. Quali's about to end. Alright, time's up. Solus took over from Bonelli. Where's Bonelli going to end? In third. Okay, so I apparently had a very comfortable margin on pole. Don't know how that worked out. I really didn't feel like that I was driving the car as hard. I felt like I was making tons of mistakes. But apparently it was enough. So, alright, we got 3 laps. And apparently a 3-second gap in terms of the quality time. So apparently I'm just a bullet in these cars on a road course. So no horn though. That's unfortunate. All right. These things do not have a whole lot of RPM at launch, unless you're like banging it off limiter. But here we go. Like I said, through some of these earlier corners, you really don't even have to brake all that much. Gravity kind of does the rest with it. These things honestly handle pretty well. I do not understand it being on a road course and it's still handling good, but laws of physics, I guess. Probably one of the faster sectors of this track as we head near the final corner. That's where I always goof up here because apparently I can brake way later than I think I can. It's about 175 meters brakes, but can you really want to press them that hard coming through there? That's what I get for not paying good attention, was watching the timing board instead of the track. Good old ADHD got me on that one. Head up the hill here, which I think is the first time I've seen a Beetle go up this hill and not lose a ton of speed, so. But 175 horsepower in a bug will do that. I absolutely love the turbo flutter. I really hope they keep that for the other, like the standard road going Beetle. After this, since we'll get the actual prize car after this event, I'm going to check and see if the actual standard road legal bug gets this motor, or they've added anything new to punch it up to that kind of those kind of numbers. Because I think the only way I've ever seen any of these flat 4 VW platforms like this and the 356 get up to that number is through the 356. I think both the coupe and the speedster both get up to about 170, 180 horsepower or so. Alright, fastest lap, and we're on the last lap, so let's just make it count. It's not going to be hard to do, apparently. I didn't realize, apparently I'm just a master of these cars on road courses, because I'm absolutely blowing away the AI, which, as they advertise quite heavily, is GT Sophie 3. So, I mean, and Sophie 2 was already pretty hard if you have the right settings, so to be absolutely bulldozing it right now. Especially even when I can make little mistakes like that. Ooh, my line through here was shot. Alrighty, down the hill we go. Oh man, that was tough. Man, I should not have said anything. Goodness, that was awful. I swear, if I just lost this race off of that, I had a 4-second gap and it just evaporated because I took one corner a little bit too brisk. That would not be terribly unheard of considering how this day has gone. We saw it happen at Laguna where I choked in the last corner of the last lap. I think I did. I think I literally just lost that race from a comfortable lead because I took that corner too fast. That is absolutely absurd. What kind of luck is that for that to happen twice in the same stream? That's insane. I'm actually kind of irritated. That's another one I should have won. Golly. But now we have the prize car, so. This one only makes 150 horsepower. Don't know why it doesn't make more, but. And it's not available for purchase. I think. Huh, so you can only buy it through here. Interesting. I guess that's meant if you get rid of yours, you can get one. So yeah, I think that's going to be where we wrap this up, though. I'm going to go check the other bug out. I'm so irritated, though. Just so many races that I could have won today that I didn't, and felt like I should have won. One little error, and it cost me the whole race. That's just insane. Alright, let's go over... we'll just try this one just for size. This bone stock one I've got lying around. Honestly, don't remember why I bought this car. Alright, so we do have engine swaps, but it is just the same old 964, 911 motor from the Carrera RS. So, nothing fancy on that one. Let's see if they've added like a new turbo setup or something. They have not. So I don't know how that car got those numbers. Quite frankly, it must be some special setup they're doing. It's not like a traditional Beetle engine. So, yeah, let's just see. I'm going to look. I'm going to get my standard, my Turbo Bug, 118 horsepower. It's just the Type 112, 1200. I'm willing to bet the Beetle Desert Racer's got its own. It's got a different startup noise. So yeah, it's got its own unique engine. So that is something. Okay, so like I said, that kind of sucks. That locks the standard Beetle at 118 horsepower when it could definitely make more. I think the 356 makes about that. Fully built. I have two built 356s, so I mean, the 356 makes more power. It makes 225 and 202 respectively. I don't know. It's interesting. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just throw the bigger turbo on it, though, because apparently it's just that much better of an engine. Not really a whole lot we can do with this car, honestly, other than the turbo upgrade. So, oh, 255 horsepower. Good gosh, that's going to be even more intense than than it was before. Dang, okay. We'll go ahead and throw that in there. That's faster than the 356. See what fan-made liveries that come out for this car already. There's got to be some decent ones. Herbie, I knew that was going to be something. I'm not seeing anything else though. Like I was hoping to see like almost a replica of the like WRC Polo liveries. That's literally it. We got a Red Bull one, which I mean, that's like the Touareg Dakar. And it's kind of cringe as it is. I don't mind that little fake grill they put on the front of it. So I want to go for the Touareg livery, or I'll be basic and put a Herbie livery on it. I think I'm going to do the Touareg livery just because it's different. Because I've already got, well, I don't anymore, but I used to run a Herbie livery on my Group 3 Beetle. I think everyone runs that now, though, so it's not unique. Alright, see if it does have the engine swap for the same 911 engine. It does not. Okay, so it is a completely unique car, as it appears. I think in terms of the wheels, I'm going to keep the standard Steelies on it. Of course, it looks like it swaps out for the OZs for the Touareg livery, but that's fine. We'll just do that. Let's see what our options are for tow hooks. It's just have one or don't. Any other... Okay, so we can take the bumper off, which I don't want to do. It looks kind of tacky. And then we have adding whatever that is to the back of it. Looks like it's some sort of wing, maybe. We'll just throw it on just because I think it looks cool. And then, yeah, it's got the same standard wheel setup. So, all in all, it's a pretty cool car. I think, honestly, I'd be happier if that engine was available in the standard bug. That way you could make, you know, your fun bug race cars or champ bugs, whatever they want to call them. But all in all, pretty solid setup. I just realized I did not put dirt tires on this. We're going to need those if it doesn't already have them. Which it definitely does not. Just for fun, I think to close this out, I know I said a minute ago that we were going to close this out, but I've still got a few minutes before I need to get ready to leave. So we're going to take her out to Lake Louise in the snow and just have some fun with it for a little bit. Try it out with almost 300 horsepower. and see what she can do out there. We'll do the long track as well. Can't say that I've driven this at night, but I'm not going to this time. Do morning. It's a little bit less hard on my eyes right now because I'm sitting in the dark. So I expect this to absolutely blow the Unimog out of the water. I don't know how it's going to do the rest of the way, so good luck. Yeah, see, that's the fun of a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive rally car, is it just will kick the tail out so quick. Could use a little bit of gearing. Dang. And it's not terribly fast, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. Even though it really likes spinning out. It's got a lot of gear one. Very upset about it not having a horn, though. I would love for this thing to have a horn. Alright. It's an okay lap. For funsies, let's just rip the e-brake. Roll 360. But that is, I think, where we're going to wrap this up for now. That was a pretty fun little stream. Lost a couple of races I shouldn't lost. Power Pack races are definitely significantly harder than the rest of the game, so pretty fun. Pretty fun overall. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, guys.